Are you ready to do this?
I'm ready.
Her.
She's ready.
Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel and welcome back if you're new here, a returning subscriber. So in today's episode, we're going to be talking about masters, everything masters, post-grad, if you're thinking of continuing or furthering your education after you finish undergrad. And I've got a special guest on the channel.
The millennial in me has to do the peace sign.
Her. So yes guys, we're just going to be chatting you through like our master's journey. Right now we are in the UK and that is where we both did our masters, and just a little bit of just a little chat about all things masters. I put up a poll on Instagram and a lot of you asked a lot of questions, different questions, so we'll be kind of giving an overview. But I'd just like to start off by saying that this is the lovely Nina.
Hi guys.
So basically, the way I met Nina is I slid into her DMs on LinkedIn. Guys, slide into those DMs. Don't even be scared. Don't even be shy.
Yeah, it was like a year ago today.
Yeah.
Around this time last year, yeah.
Literally a year ago today, like I saw she had made a post on LinkedIn about helping people revamp their CVs, and I was like, this is the woman that I need in my life. So I slid into her DMs, sent her my CV, and she was like, girl, this is too good. And
I really enjoyed your CV. I had been reviewing so many CVs and I could see the effort that you put in.
Yeah.
You know, and as someone who's wanted to help someone else, it was very encouraging when I saw how much effort you'd put in, and there wasn't much revamping that was needed. So well done, girl.
Guys, this is your sign. If you need anyone to help you with like anything CV, work related, career related, school related, just reach out and ask for help, because only good can come out of it, because look at us now. And it's been history since then. Yeah. So she has agreed to come on this channel to give us some nuggets, because even though we've both done our masters, we've done it through different journeys.
Yeah.
Like I did my master's immediately after I finished undergrad, whereas like she worked for a bit, gained some experience, decided this is an area she wants to go into, and then did her master's based on that. I'm gonna start off that video by kind of just chatting you through our journeys in terms of masters. I don't know if my lovely guest would like to go first.
So I did my MSc in management and IB. I actually sort of did the opposite. I knew the modules that I wanted, the areas that I really wanted to learn and gain sort of deeper insight. And all those modules were for IB and management. So that's how I ended up doing MSc in management and IB.
What made you like know that you want to do these modules? Is it something that you've come across in your work where you're like, oh, that's an area of interest for me, I want to know more about that, I want to specialize in this area?
Yeah, I worked for a multinational in financial services back home in Botswana. So those are some of the areas I was interested to see how people did the same, you know, throughout the world and so on. And also because in financial services, there was just so much regulation. I just thought to myself, if we can sort of learn from them, it'll be better for us to sort of hit those compliance points. So that's why I wanted to do that. In fact, I even had my master's this topic before.
I love that, because that's the kind of focus that you need. Like, because I feel like masters is something where you have to be so intentional about what you want to study. You kind of have to have a reason. Like go undergrad, you just kind of pick a course because school, you just want to graduate, hella, and just get it out of the way. But like when you do further education, it has to be something where you're like, okay, why am I doing this? Why do I want to go into this? So I love that you had your this topic before you even applied.
I remember the plan. It was deeply personal for me. I've told you this before. I wanted to make it up to myself. Undergrad, I was not top achieving in undergrad. And this was just my way of making it up to myself. And as you're saying, you know, it is thing, which means really, really be intentional, know why you're there. Because if you're not crying during masters, you're doing something wrong.
Actually, like if you don't want it like that, then it's a bit a lot. I think when I decided what I did, so I did my MSc in business analytics. I knew I wanted to go into something that was very related to my background, which is economics, finance. But I feel like I've always had like a desire to go into something data or computer science related, because initially when I started undergrad, I was all over the place, guys. Like, I applied for finance schools in the UK, computer science schools in America. Like, I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I had to pick something. So I was like, okay, let me go for the most marketable thing. And I think my master's was like, I owed it to myself to kind of go into that area. So I was looking for a course that was like, should I do data analytics? But I was like, I don't want it to be so specialized. Because what if I don't enjoy working with data?
True.
You know, what if I don't like it? Whereas business analytics had a combination of I could pick up a lot of data modules and I could still work on things that were very related to my background, finance, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that was well thought out. That was well thought out.
Yeah, that's like one thing. You really have to figure out why you want to do your master's, and that'll help you like hone in on the kind of master's that you want to do. Yeah, don't just kind of throw yourself into that journey.
Masters can't be vibes. Undergrad, there's a level of vibes, but masters can't be vibes.
It can't be.
There's just too much work to do.
It can't be.
It's too demanding.
And that's the thing. Okay, first step, guys, the course. Now, what happens after that? Like picking the location, why the UK, the school, the city. Take us through that.
I was very okay, granted, I had been working for over 6 years, and I was very sort of methodical in why I chose to come to Britain. I mean, it was Australia, because my mom did her master's in Aussie, and Canada. Mama did undergrad in Canada or the Americas. I thought to myself, hey, those places are far. If I need to come home, Britain is close. Yeah. Also, the duration in the UK, the master's is a year, whereas other places it's 2 years. And also the NHS, I was like, if I'm not well, free NHS. Granted, when you are an international student, because I've been an international student before, you do have medical cover, but I just thought, so that's why I chose the UK.
Take us through, like, because obviously you decide, okay, I want to do my master's. You decide, okay, I want to do it in this. But what was the application process like? What was the visa process like? People on my channel come for the tea, the juice. Okay. So we gotta give them the juice, yeah.
Yeah. Because I didn't do so well in undergrad, I was so convinced no university would accept me. So I was applying in secret. And I was just applying to schools that I believed I could afford, sort of not too pricey, because I was because I was self-sponsored. So I had to look at the price of the course as well as the cost of living in the town.
Yeah.
And just information around that. So I spent a lot of time looking on YouTube for videos so every university that I applied to, I had looked for a video about the university as well as videos about the town and stuff like that. So that was important to me.
You did your research.
Yes, because it's one thing to go to this amazing university, but if you live in a very high cost of living area, it will put stress on you. It'll put a lot of stress on you that will affect that. And Nottingham is, I really, I'm so pleased that I chose Notts.
Yeah.
Such a student town, so vibrant, lots of nice places.
Nice.
And another reason as well I chose my uni was because they were just so sort of responsive. When I'd email, they would respond. When I'd ring them, yes, guys, I would ring them from Botswana. It's cheaper to ring Botswana to the UK.
Than the other way around.
Yes, we can't call you.
Hey.
WhatsApp call or FaceTime.
That's it.
Yeah, even if you don't answer, they still charge. But they were very responsive. And another thing they had in my uni was academic mentors.
Nice.
So each master's student got their own academic mentor.
Wow.
And my academic mentor, she's still in my life today. She keeps emailing me at least once every sort of 6 months. She's like, PhD, I'm coming, Dr. Sue, I'm coming.
Coming for you. Oh, I love that. And you kind of want that reassurance, especially when you're applying with a kakala. You're just like, I want to know that I want to go to an institution that'll take care of me, kind of grow these skills that I want to build on. Because you're furthering your education because you want to build certain knowledge, build on certain skills. So I absolutely love that.
When you haven't been in an academic environment for so long, you're a bit sort of, let me speak for myself. I was very, again, insecure about my ability. I had a lot of imposter syndrome. So the support that I was given, it gave me a level of confidence that I would have the support to get me through my master's. If I needed help, there was help available.
Yeah.
So that's really was very important for me.
It is. And I think master's is very challenging as well. It's like a big step. So you want to know that when you take that step, you have like the support there, the resources. Like, yeah, the only thing you have to worry about is studying and writing your assignments.
Yeah.
Yeah, application process is quite straightforward, quite similar.
Yeah.
You have to put in your CV. That's one thing that shocked me. Hey,
yes.
they
Personal
wanna know.
statement.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Once you decide you want to do your masters, you apply, you like make sure that you pick the right location, right institution for you, one that'll support you, one that aligns with like whatever goals you might have in terms of where you want to be located, the UK, the US, wherever. Yes. And then starting, how does that journey look like?
I started in 2021, so I started online in Botswana. Mm-hmm. So I was still doing sort of my first couple 3 modules or so online, which is quite difficult. You know,
yeah.
My nephew is screaming my name in the next room with his granny. Yeah. But you know, and there's the time difference as well. But because I had quit my job to do my masters, I had to focus. I had to focus when people are sleeping at home. I'm taking the time to sort of go over my work, the revision that I had, prep for seminars, and I always had my camera on.
Yeah.
I always had my camera on. I always had my camera on.
You show them I'm on my Zoom.
You have to, you know? Yeah. And that's what I did. I always had my camera on. I always asked questions. And because I had my camera on, it also put pressure on me to be very well prepared. Because they would ask me questions.
Yeah. So, and I guess you want to put yourself in that position where it's like, I want to show like I'm engaging, I'm learning. Because you realize, I'm here to learn. Like, I feel like when you do undergrad, it's like, yeah, I'm here to learn, but I'm here to party, but I'm here to vibe, you know. But when it comes to masters, like, hey, I'm here to learn.
And undergraduate in those 500-seater, 1,000-seater lecture halls. Masters, 10 in a seminar. So you have to know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And also because I've worked before. I know the what goes into preparing the learning material and so on. So I just wanted to show the lecturers that courtesy to say I value you.
Yeah, and I value your time.
And I value your time as well.
Nice, yeah. I think you need to honestly approach school with a different kind of attitude, especially when you go into masters. Yes. And I think for me, like when I started off, because I started in person, Kwano, and it was a big step up. That's one thing that like, whoa, that's one thing that shocked me. And I think it's also because even though I knew I wanted to further my education, because I also knew I was doing my masters because I wasn't ready for the real world or ready to work, I was just like, more school. I thought it would be like more school, but like an undergrad version of what I knew school to be. Guys, masters is a step up. The workload is a step up. The intensity, the expectation of like the quality of your work. Like you can't just coursework similarity score just scrape by. Like you can't just scrape by. You have to be like really intentional about what you're doing, what you're studying, the amount of effort you put into like
absolutely. Yeah. And those distinctions are so hard to get.
Yeah.
They want criticality. They kept saying
be critical. Yeah. Think critically. And you're like, what does that even mean?
Fun fact, you know, I attended all the library courses. So critical reading, critical writing, how to write, literature review, how to reference.
You have to.
I attended those more than once. There was even a joke between like the library staff to say, Nina, what number is this? I'll be like, oh, it's the 5th one. But your girl, but my similarity score was never over 10%.
That is a flex, guys. That is
never
a flex.
To this day, referencing and me
locked in.
I got this.
And I feel like that kind of makes us go into the next part of this video, which is just the getting through. Like a lot of people are like, how do you get through masters? Because everyone says, oh, it's so hard, it's so this, it's very like how we're saying right now. It is like that. You have to be prepared for that mentally more than anything. But what do you think really helped you get through? And I love the fact that you attended every critical writing, critical thinking, everything, guys. You need those things because even though you think quite critically, you have your own biases. Like you have situations in life that have shaped the way you think. Absolutely. And that always comes off in like the way you write, the way you critique things. And when they tell you think critically, you think you are thinking critically. Absolutely. But you're not.
You're not. So for me, I did it with the end in mind. So they would say you have to have this assessment. It's an essay, it's a report, it's a presentation, and this. And some of those sometimes had 2 parts or 3 parts. One assessment having 3 parts and everything. So I'll start. So I had like on my board, because eventually when I moved over, and we had in person. So I would have my little board to say, You know, we have global supply chain. Is the assessment is due like this? These are the details of the assessment.
Yeah.
And I'll just write it down. So I'd say that means I'd have to have my first draft, second draft this way. So I'd work at it that way.
Backwards, yeah.
I'll work backwards. So that helped me a lot.
Nice.
And also with us, we would have assessment weeks. So we would complete the course material and then would have that assessment week. So by then I wanted to give myself time to proofread, to edit, to make sure my referencing was on point. So that's how I got through. And also I always did the pre, during, and post. So prepare. Don't just go to the seminar unprepared.
You'll be lost.
You will be lost.
You'll be lost.
In the seminar, I would participate, ask a lot of questions, engage, and go back and forth with I call them colleagues, my classmates. And also after, I would sort of go to the library. Our library had like a master's section, which is nice. And there's Starbucks in the library. I love that. Get my Starbucks.
But I should have gone there.
And then I would just go over everything. And I had a thing of having a folder of really nice sort of journals, articles, and books and stuff.
Nice.
So just building my arsenal, because I already knew what was required for the assessment. You know, in the course outline, they tell you this assessment. So I'd already start thinking of the company that I'm going to do, looking at that.
Any case studies that have interested you could pull them into that assignment. Yeah.
And even on YouTube, you know, certain like lectures from Harvard and stuff, I would go on there and look at those lectures as well. And any sort of reference that they would make, I would look it up and read it.
I get it.
Yeah.
Tata, we made a joke about this video before, guys, and I was saying, like, when you start your masters, you actually have to activate academic beast mode.
You have to get on your Zoom.
Like, if you've ever given an assignment 100% in uni, you have to do that for your masters throughout the whole duration of it all. You know, and I love that you were engaging, participating, because that's how you learn. Like, that's how it sticks. Like, honestly, and that's the only way to get through, to be honest.
And I was going to get my money's worth. Nikki Bella. So I had to get my money's worth. I was there. I was going to get my money's worth. And also, you know, when we were younger, the teacher would be like, yo, I already have my degree. I got this. You guys... And that's something that kept running through my mind, to say, get your money's worth. Give yourself the chance to do the best that you can.
Yeah.
And masters, imagine, masters are 2 years worth, but in the UK, we do them in a year. And it's not even a 4 year, it's 9 months.
9 months.
So you can do literally an entire module in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, literally. It's so fast paced.
It is so fast paced.
Rapid.
If you just relax for one day, when you get back, it's just like, whoa.
And I feel like when you're in undergrad, you can just be in a lecture not paying attention. But with masters, really to kind of get your money's worth, as well as like your time value, you have to pay attention in the lecture, because you can't go home and try to figure out what they were talking about in the lecture. Like, you're better off just going to the lecture, having an idea of what's being discussed. You get there, you get further understanding. And then by the time you go home, you just make your life easier for yourself, you know? You just have to be like really intentional. And that also ties into, you have to do something that you're interested in. Like, you can't pull that kind of intentionality out of yourself if you're not studying an area that you're actually interested in or that you want to go into, you know. You have to feel something.
My
exciting.
My module is exciting. The international HR, global supply chain management, you know, international marketing, all of these. It was so amazing. And I was writing hard for companies from back home, Southern Africa, Botswana, South Africa. So most of my assignments, I would choose Botswana, I would choose Pick and Pay, I would choose, you know, Seso or whatever. So
I even wrote an assignment about Showmax, guys.
Oh,
Showmax, because I had to do one about cloud computing, like one of the technologies that's booming right now. So you pick a technology, then you pick a company, then you study them. So I picked cloud computing, then I picked Showmax, and I was like, I need to write, I need to represent. So you really need to pick like a course that has modules where you're like, this is something that excites me, or this is something I genuinely want to learn more about. And I think it makes it easier to get through.
It does.
And yeah,
It does.
just put your foot down. Because guys, school is hard.
It is.
No matter how much you love
It
school,
is,
no matter
yeah.
how smart you are, no matter how much whatever, school is still hard. It's a challenge. You have to bring out a part of you that you probably never had to bring out in any other aspect of your life. Challenge yourself. If you're someone who doesn't do well with criticism, take the criticism from your lecturers, from your classmates, your colleagues.
My colleagues.
Yeah. Take the criticism from your colleagues. So when there's group work, you don't contribute, your phone is off. You have to just, you have to be
group leader.
Literally, you have to just put your foot down and get your money's worth.
Get your money's worth. And also something, we were chatting about it. We have this talk all the time, but you have to really push yourself outside the box because you have to think differently. There's a change that happens. You have to think differently. I'll make an example in undergrad. In undergrad, Zoom to just go with vibes, just go in there and go with the flow. But even with masters, they ask you, why did you choose Depswana? Why did you? There are so many. Because another thing is, one, you have to present, and then the lecturer and your classmates are asking you hard questions. And then even in the feedback that you're given hard feedback on there as well. So you're taking a lot of criticism all the time. And the one part I didn't like was the group work. I liked when I could choose my group members, my colleagues, but I hated not choosing. But then again, oh my God, it's life.
It's life.
You choose your colleagues at work. So
I struggled with the group work bit. Guys, even for masters, this group work, I was fighting with people's fathers. Where is your part of the work?
Yeah, that's a nice.
Where's your part of the group work?
And the nice thing is, the masters were all, different ages, different backgrounds. Some are older, some are younger. So,
Not a lot. You just power through. And another thing that I thought about as well is when I was an undergrad, I worked part-time while I was studying. And when I was in my master's, I worked part-time while I was studying as well. And I thought the balance would still be the same. Because when I was an undergrad, I think I really balanced it pretty well. But when I was in master's, and the thing is, the world doesn't stop. Your rent needs to be paid. You got the bills. You have to eat. You have to sustain yourself. So I really struggled with finding that balance between studying and working, but I had to just find a way to make it work. I wanted to know, did you kind of go through the same thing, and how did you balance that out?
Fortunately, I had saved enough money. I actually got out of debt and saved a lot of money just for this endeavor. So for the first couple of months, I had enough. So when I arrived to the UK, my rent and bills were paid for already for 6 months. So that gave me a bit of time. And also that also gave me time to know when I'm most productive. So I'm a morning person. So from 4 a.m. to 1 o'clock, that's peak time for me. So fortunately, because I didn't have to work early on, I was able to get into that routine. So when I finally was starting to work my part-time job, I already knew the time, so I could choose shifts according to that, and make sure that I'm really on that.
That's the thing. You have to kind of know your routine, know how you work, establish yourself a little bit, and then take it from there. Otherwise, you're just gonna end up burnt out.
Exactly. Or for instance, sometimes there would be times when I'd have to come back from shift and work, or sometimes I'll take my computer. On night shift. I'll take my computer on night shift and just cha-cha. But also, when you're doing that, you have to know which sections you're working on. So in the beginning, when I'm really reading my journals and all of that, I wouldn't do that. But for instance, if I'm just proofreading, those types of things, my, referencing, I wouldn't say I needed so much brain power for that.
So you could do those tedious tasks. You can do them just while you were there. Nice. There. Just kind of finding that balance is really important. That's really good. I think that kind of brings us to, even though we've started, a lot of people just wanted advice on how to get through. My girl, sent some questions.
She did. She asked me what I would do differently. I think the first thing is I'm glad I did the way I did it. It's something that I always wanted to do. I was always going to do masters. I was always going to do masters. School is extremely important to me. Education is important to me. And I was always going to do masters. I am going to do a PhD. I think what I would have changed is, at the time it was COVID and I was constantly worried, am I going to end up going? I've spent so much money wanting to be a full-time student. Now this is happening. And I spent so much time worrying.
Yeah.
But everything worked out in the end, you know? And that's one thing that I say I think I would have done differently. To say there's so many things that are outside of your control. What is within your control, focus on that, and don't lose sleep over that. Because I think about how I was supposed to, because I started in Jan.
Yeah.
I was supposed to come in Jan, but I ended up coming in April. And just those months with my family, I should have just enjoyed them more. My nephew, my mom, my sister and stuff, my friends. And I spent so much time worrying. And also, I think with my disc now, I think I could have gotten more, I could have been more critical. I could have gone out more. But I think there's also that exhaustion, that fatigue towards the end. And the disc is like, how many credits? Like 30 credits or something.
Mine was even 60.
I think it's some
60 credits.
60 credits.
So it makes up a huge chunk of your overall grade. And I think then you're knackered, right? You're tired.
And I think I could have gotten a few more. I could have been a bit more. That was a critique I got from my supervisor. He's like, you could have been more critical and stuff. Because I did mine on Mitelo. So he wanted a bit more.
That's an interesting topic. Guys, you can pull in a little bit of
financial services. So those are things I wish I could have done differently. But during I was
on it.
I did well.
Yeah. I did well. You just
distinctions.
You're that girl. Yeah. Oh my gosh, that makes me think, what would I do differently? I think one thing I would do differently is I'd wait a little bit. Like, I think I was really burnt out from undergrad, and I had a lot of stuff going on in my personal life, like that final year of my undergrad, that I never really gave myself time to just recover. Like, even the intake, because I graduated July, September intake, I was doing my master's. I would have at least either waited maybe for January intake, or maybe waited just a year to kind of just recover, recoup myself, because a lot. I think going home after I finished my undergrad really helped me refresh, unwind, and it just gave me that mental unblock that I needed before starting my master's and just kind of hitting the ground running. I genuinely think if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't have finished my master's, because it needed that much from me. It takes a toll from you. So if you can, even just a few months, just a break, just switch off your brain, not switch off, but do something else, focus on something else for a little bit, and then come back. But also, I think it helped me because I still was actively using those skills. I knew how to reference, how to write. I knew what the expectations of uni was. So I think I was able to kind of pick up the pace quite a bit with that. But I think my only regret was just a little bit more of a break, a little bit more of a breather. But another thing is, guys, life doesn't wait for you to have a breather.
It does. Oh my God.
Life doesn't wait for you to have a breather. So that's why also I was just like, you know what? Let me just find a way to just reconnect myself, just take a little bit of weight off my shoulders and just jump back in the ring.
And we met, my girl.
Literally, if I started my master's later, we wouldn't have met.
We wouldn't have met, my girl.
Mid-master's, get your corporate world CV. It was a lot.
She actually came to visit me over my place with her laptop. So I'm there cooking for her, and she's like, "Yo, my desk, my girl." I was like, "Do this, my girl."
Mid-dissertation, I didn't even have a topic. I was like, "What am I going to talk about?" I was like, I knew I wanted to be something related to Botswana, but what? Really? And eventually, I did my diss on data analytics in Botswana.
Remember when you're like, "Oh, I only have the." I was like, "You need 300." I said, "What number was it?" You're like, "No, my girl, I have enough. I want to do the analytics now." I said, "More, my girl, wait, get more."
Oh, questionnaires, guys! Everyone on my Instagram and my Twitter that responded to my questionnaire, you guys, that's our diss. We did that. Thank you so much.
We appreciate you.
Oh my gosh. And I think that brings us to the end of this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching if you've made it this far. And thank you so much for coming on the channel.
Thank you for having me. I
hope you all found that really useful. And I think we would do a part 2 of this video if you guys have any more questions, anything you want to know. But I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Thank you so much if you've made it this far. Please make sure to like, comment down below if you'd ever do your masters, if you've done a masters, how
are
it
you
was.
in masters now?
Exactly.
It's this time. What are your dissertation topics on, guys?
Exactly. So
let us know down
below
in the comments.
But yes, thank you so much, and I'll see you guys in the next one.